Donald Trump is having an awful Friday morning. He has already admitted that he and his regime will be violating the Epstein transparency law. They will not be producing all of the Epstein files. They say instead they will be producing 100,000 or a few 100,000 documents today, and then maybe in a few weeks or months, they may produce a few 100,000 more. That is a direct violation of the Epstein transparency law, which requires that all of the files be released today. Obviously, they are spending the additional time to engage in a further cover-up. And it pains me to give you that news, but I think we all knew that Donald Trump would wake up on Friday and do a massive cover-up, and that's exactly what's going on. Let me show you what Donald Trump's number 2 at the DOJ, a guy by the name of Todd Blanche, had to say. Now, you'll remember Todd Blanche used to be Donald Trump's personal lawyer. He was Trump's criminal defense lawyer in the case where Donald Trump was convicted of like 33 or 34 felony counts. Now, Todd Blanche was appointed as the number 2 at the DOJ, and he was the guy who interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell at the maximum security facility where she was serving basically a life sentence, over 20 years, for engaging in child sex trafficking. And they did that interview where Ghislaine lied the entire time, and then she was transferred to the minimum security facility at Camp Bryant, Texas. This is Todd Blanche moments ago saying that the Trump regime will not be turning out over all of the Epstein files today. Instead, hundreds of thousands of several 100,000 documents, they say today, and then they'll be doing additional documents, they claim, in the coming weeks, a direct violation of the law. Here, play this clip.
So yes, so today is the 30 days, and I expect that we're going to release several 100,000 documents today, and those documents will come in all different forms, photographs and other materials associated with all of the investigations into Mr. Epstein. And just so everybody appreciates, President Trump has said for years that he wants full transparency, and he wants the Department of Justice to release everything that we can with respect to this investigation.
I just want to pull up the Epstein transparency law so we can read it together. Here it is right here. Short title: the act may be cited as the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Subsection A: in general, not later than 30 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall, subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the Department of Justice, including the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the United States Attorney's Office that relates to, then it's everything related to Epstein, Ghislaine, and their child sex trafficking ring. And the Trump regime is now saying they will be violating that law. You just heard it there publicly. Here, Todd Blanche is again this morning, again using this number, several 100,000, he says. And then he just tries to gaslight everybody and say, Donald Trump has always wanted to be transparent about it. He's always been the guy to produce everything. This is what he always wanted to do. Just stop it. Cut it out. I mean, for real. The American people aren't stupid. The American people know that this is a massive PPP, pedo protection program, a massive cover-up of this child sex trafficking ring by Donald Trump and Todd Blanche and the rest of this regime. I just want to show you what he said this morning so you can see what liars. It's just unfortunate that these people who are destroying this country right now, who are in the Oval Office, who are there, are just such liars, and that they're covering up a child sex trafficking ring like this, and they think we're all stupid. Here, play this clip.
So yes, so today is the 30 days, and I expect that we're going to release several 100,000 documents today, and those documents will come in all different forms, photographs and other materials associated with all of the investigations into Mr. Epstein. And just so everybody appreciates, President Trump has said for years that he wants full transparency, and he wants the Department of Justice to release everything that we can with respect to this investigation.
Yeah, I just want to bring you more data and receipts. Right, we talked about yesterday that there were, at least 1,000 FBI and 1,000 FBI and DOJ national security personnel from national security positions who the Trump regime assigned to be involved in redactions on these Epstein files. 1,000. And they've been working every single day on this, apparently, likely to remove Donald Trump's name from it and to remove people who Donald Trump knows from it, and anyone who Donald Trump is friends with and all of his powerful billionaire friends, to hide them from it. But that's in addition to what was done back in March. I mean, do you remember reporting by Jason Leopold over at Bloomberg? He explained that between March 17th and March 22nd, there was close to $1 million in overtime that was clocked going through the Epstein files in March. FBI personnel clocked in a total of 4,737 hours of overtime between January and July alone. That's just overtime. So if it's 4,737 hours of just overtime, how many actual hours do you think were between January and July? My estimate, probably 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 hours were spent going through these files and making these redactions, with 70% occurring during the month of March alone. Think about that. And then they're not producing these records right now. They're unable to produce these records today. Absolutely heinous regime. Look, this is the same regime that gaslights the people and saying, oh, it's a great economy. Everyone's doing great. Everyone's doing amazing, everybody, right? Everyone's so, what a great special economy we've gotten. People are like, dude, I can't afford things at the grocery store. I can't afford to buy a home. I can't afford to pay my rent. I can't afford to buy basic essentials in life right now. I'm working a job and I'm living paycheck to paycheck if I'm lucky enough to get a paycheck. That's how the American people are feeling right now. It's psychological torture out there. And that's reflected in the numbers. Take a look right here at the latest University of Michigan consumer sentiment polling, which now is at 50.4, a new all-time low going back to data from the 1970s. So the Trump regime can try to gaslight us, but the people aren't being gaslit. Not about Epstein, not about the economy, not about how this regime is handling anything. We know that they're liars. We know that he's not making peace deals. We know that he's not making trade deals. We know that tariff isn't a beautiful word. We know that he's harming this country in everything he's doing. He's making the world less safe. His tariffs are causing inflation to surge, and his policies are screwing everybody, but maybe just his rich billionaire friends. By the way, can you hit subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel? We're on our way to 6 million subscribers here, and we would love your support to help us get to 6 million subscribers. This was from this morning on Fox, where basically, as Rose Benson says, all of the horrible news about the economy, all of the bad news that's out there, Fox acts like, and the market for the billionaires are all like, that's good news for the market because it means maybe there could be interest rate cuts in February. The people may be suffering, the job report may be horrible, consumer sentiment may be low, but that's good news. Here, play this clip.
That's 41 million homes sold on
4.13 million.
4.13 sold on an annualized basis. Yeah. That is not strong at all. That's just not.
Here we are.
Also, latest read on consumer sentiment. What's that number?
It surprise drop to 52.9. This is a December number. It's the final number, so it's pretty recent. Consumers are just worried about the price of things and long-run inflation expectations as well.
But with rather these dull numbers, the market seems to like it, perhaps implying that we'll get more Fed rate cuts.
Actually, the market went up a little bit on both pieces of information being slightly weaker than expected.
The weakness, I think, is attractive. Bad news is actually good news for the market. Yeah. Maybe. That's what we got.
Do you struggle with focus, productivity, or efficiency like I do? Maybe you have ADHD and are looking for tools to help you. Everyday Dose has a combination of coffee and nootropics and Lion's Made that help with focus and mood improvement. Now, as you know, we have a very busy and even hectic schedule sometimes here at MeidasTouch. We're constantly on the go, and while I love my coffee, I'm looking for something better. A simple but effective alternative that doesn't take even more time out of my day. Everyday Dose is my new coffee alternative. It tastes just like coffee, but it's enhanced with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional mushrooms, and my gut and brain have never been happier. It takes 30 seconds to make, and I never run out of ingredients that I need. Everyday Dose has been a savior for my body. It's not only an incredible coffee, it also has collagen and functional mushrooms that get rid of any negative side effects of coffee on my stomach. If normal coffee is like a flip phone, Everyday Dose is like a smartphone. It's coffee, and yes, it tastes like coffee, but it has all three other functional benefits that get you ready for 2026. Now, Everyday Dose is coffee plus benefits. They combine high quality coffee with powerful ingredients like lion's mane and chaga, collagen, protein, and nootropics to fuel your brain, boost focus, and give you clean, sustained energy all day long. It tastes just like coffee without the downside, no crash, no jitters, just clean, sustained energy. Get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit, a free A2 probiotic creamer with over $100 in free gifts by going to everydaydose.com/Midas or entering Midas at checkout. That's everydaydose.com/Midas for 61% off your first order. Everyday Dose is also available at your local Target.
Then you have the labor secretary, anti-labor secretary, as I call her, Lori Chavez DeRemer. Hates unions, hates workers, hates labor, loves AI, replacing workers. I mean, she's the labor secretary. She pretended during her career that she was like, I'm for labor when she was a congresswoman. But the people, her constituents, voted her out because they know what a phony that she is. Here she is right here, Lori Chavez DeRemer, labor secretary, saying that 4.6% unemployment's a good thing. We've never had better unemployment. What are they talking about? Play this clip.
The latest jobs report showed the unemployment rate going up to 4.6%. That's a 4-year high. You must be disappointed by that. Do you trust the numbers?
Well, when I look at the numbers, what I think about is that we saw a solid jobs report, 64,000 new jobs. The president has created more private sector jobs than we have seen in really a long time, and certainly not under the Biden administration, where almost 700,000 jobs have been in the private sector. Certainly, we have seen the federal jobs go down, which is what the president promised that he would do. You know, we're going to be in North Carolina tonight. I'll be with the president talking about, to the American people, how we're going to protect the American economy and the American jobs. So with more people searching for jobs, the unemployment rate can tick up because that means more people are getting off the sideline and finally wanting to be part of the American economy and this workforce. And at the Department of Labor, we want to stay focused on understanding exactly where we need to send those dollars to make sure that everybody has the opportunity at the American dream.
That was an interesting diplomatic move, I'd say, to see a 4-year high for unemployment is actually kind of beneficial and good news. Madam Secretary, I'm being facetious, but I don't mean it. I'll see you very soon, I hope, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well, Stuart.
Sure thing.
Here's how the consumer sentiment numbers were being reported on CNBC. Do you sense a trend here? Here, play this clip.
Michigan sentiment and the inflation metrics embedded in this report. So the mid-month read gets tossed. 53.3 was the mid-month read on the headline. It now moves lower to 52.9. That would be the weakest since it was 51 in November. And I'd like to point out that if you look at the absolute low, it is 50 from June of 22. We're not far away from the low going back to my database in the 70s. Now, if we look at current conditions, same dynamic. 50.7 mid-month becomes 50.4. And 50.4 is a new all-time low, replacing the 50.7. Also, my database goes back into the 1970s. Look at expectations. Same dynamic. Mid-month, 55 now becomes 54.6, and 54.6 would be the weakest since November when it was 51.
And what's the regime focused on? You have their Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, who's focused now on seizing land in California. It's the language he used. We have an opportunity to seize a strip of land along the border in California and transfer it to military control for 3 years. States' rights, eh? States' rights. The federal government seizing land in California and turning it into military installations. while Trump covers up child sex trafficking rings, while the economy is suffering. Oh, by the way, while Donald Trump is making billions of dollars, what would Donald Trump do? He merged his social media company into a fusion energy company so that he can make billions of dollars. Did you hear about that? Trump Media announced a $6 billion merger with the fusion technology company, TAE Technologies. And then the Trump Media stock surged on that news. That makes a lot of sense, right? Social media companies that are doing horrible and losing tens of millions of dollars each quarter, merging with fusion companies. It's a cauldron of corruption, this regime. Anyway, here's Doug Burgum's great idea that they're rolling out. This is what the American people were looking for. Seizing land in California, which, by the way, is the most populous and wealthy state in the United States, that gives more to the federal government than basically any state, that subsidizes the red states. And now they come and seize land in California. Here, play this clip.
We have an opportunity to take a strip of land right along the border, transfer it to the military for a 3-year period, to which then, if someone crosses into our country and steps on that, they're stepping on a military installation. That gives our troops that are down there working to secure that border more authorities about detaining people if they step on that land. It helps improve the security. We've done this already early in this Trump administration in New Mexico, along a strip that ran across most of New Mexico. Now doing it in Southern California, near the Pacific, because this is obviously an area of high traffic. When I was governor, we had troops stationed in this area, National Guard helping out the federal government on the border. I've been down there myself as governor just over a year ago and saw again the tremendous gaps that we have in security that are there. Of course, now under President Trump, the border is secure. This is one step to make it even more secure.
Mr. Secretary.
But Donald Trump wants everybody to know that he's defied the odds. He's achieved an economic miracle. It's all happening. It's all happening. That's what he posted this morning. The triple play, rate cuts, tariffs, cooling inflation. It's all happening. Meanwhile, in the real world, economists from places like Barclays say, yeah, you know, the inflation report that was just put out by the Trump regime, don't take it literally, or don't let it guide any policy at all. It's all made up, basically. The Trump regime used zero. They just put the number zero when it comes to inflation for rents, for rental inflation. And they would use like Black Friday sales to show prices going down. Look, the prices are going down with the Black Friday sales. Yeah, they're Black Friday sales. And you don't just put zero. You don't just input zero, the number zero. Yeah, it will bring down averages if you just put zero. You're just making things up. That's the Trump regime. We'll keep you posted every step of the way today on what's happening. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. The cover-up's in full swing. You saw it right there at the beginning. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.